Street Talking Other Stuff. Mike, Mad Dog McNally on this fine Monday morning in October. Thanks for joining with us today. I have got a really cool show for you. I've got an amazing, incredible, very, very, very talented guest on today. We're going to talk with her in a little bit, but some stuff is coming up. You have some live theater opportunities that are presenting themselves opening this week. Now, Music Theater of Wenatchee has expanded their season. We've got 3 shows. We've got a show opening this Thursday, running 2 weekends, called the Last 5 Years. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in a minute. Around Christmas time, the first 3 weekends in December, a show called A Twisted Christmas Carol, which is a spoof on Dickens' story, very funny show. And then one in January called An Inspector Calls, which is kind of a mystery suspense. Great shows coming up, okay? And you can get tickets for these at a 10% discount if you buy all 3. You can go to the Numerica Pack, and that's where you can find the tickets. It'll direct you there. But like I said, the Last 5 Years opens this weekend. Is only running 2 weekends, so if you want this special 10% deal, you have to act quickly. It's a show directed by Haley Tolman. It's about 2 people, 2 perspectives, 2 timelines with 2 trajectories with a live orchestra on stage. Going to be a great musical. And A Twisted Christmas Carol, again, it's like I said, it's a spoof on Dickens's Christmas Carol story involving a disgruntled Texas barbecue joint owner. It's directed by yours truly, who has a good reputation for comedy, so it's going to be a very funny show. And then Terry Sloan is directing An Inspector Calls in January. So like I say, if you go to Numerica Pack, the tickets, or the mtow.org, Music Theater of Wenatchee website, you'll find out more information about these. But great live theater opportunities. And if you've never been to a live show before, I mean, you don't know how cool it is, okay? Much better than special effects in movies, I think. But hey, Street Talking Other Stuff. I've got a great guest coming up. You stick around. We will be right back.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful 1-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee provides financial services for independent-minded clients working to secure their futures. Whether it's helping construct your personal financial, retirement, or estate plan, they start with a disciplined approach and straightforward advice. An individualized approach is rooted in the values, stability, and strength their company was founded on in 1935. With offices coast to coast and personal attention you deserve right here in the Wenatchee Valley, learn more about D.A. Davidson.
Okay, we're back. Street Talking Other Stuff. And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And my guest today is my friend, the Executive Director of SAGE, Bethany AlHadari.
AlHadari. You got it.
I told you. I told you I got it right the first time around.
Did,
and I get stage fright.
That's fine.
Bethany, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You've been a guest before. It's my pleasure. And your job with SAGE just started about 6 months ago. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we start getting into the agency and
Sure,
what
sure.
you do and what your agency does.
Yeah, I think every time I've come on the show, it's been for something else. So
It has
it's
been.
good to be here in the context of Sage.
just you're just
All over the place. My background, I have always had an interest in human rights law, and I did my doctorate in international human rights law over in Ireland. And then I was letting you know earlier that I just finished law school at the University of Washington.
cool.
So I've always kind of had a background in human rights and social justice,
Sure.
access to justice, and kind of representing the underdog. And then was working previously with a DC-based human rights organization, and they focus a lot on wrongful detention of prisoners overseas. So I was working a lot on getting, U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents who were wrongfully detained abroad back home to the United States.
Okay, all right.
And then the opportunity at Sage Advocacy Center opened up, and I applied, and here we are 6 months later.
Okay, so you say you just finished law school. Have you been admitted to the bar yet? Have you taken what's your plan on that?
Well, we'll see. I may try to sit one day for the bar, but after I had 2 master's degrees, I did my PhD, and I think I just need a break from studying.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. But what's nice is you're not just somebody who talks about injustice and things like that. I mean, you're getting in there. I mean, you're jumping into it 100%, and that's great. Okay.
That's what we hope. We hope that
incredible.
people who study the law are trying to work for justice, but
Yeah.
you never know.
Okay, so you're still working with human rights organizations in Washington, D.C., and I think you mentioned New York as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. Before I'm no longer working at the Freedom Initiative. That was the DC-based one. Sometimes
Okay.
I do consult
Okay.
for Human Rights Foundation out of New York. Sometimes I do some work for different states who need expert witnesses on the subject area that I work in. So, yeah.
Okay, so tell us about Sage.
Oh, Sage, yes.
I mean, Sage has been around for quite some time.
Yep, since 1978.
That's right. It used to be
Yeah.
called Phoenix Place.
That's right.
It was changed, but again, history, what the mission of the organization is, that type of thing. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I think what is really important is the founding story there. Sage was started in 1978 as a project of volunteers with the Wenatchee Police Department.
Right.
It's grown over the years. As it stands right now, we are a accredited child advocacy center. That's one of the major things that we do. So we do have a partnership with all 4 jurisdictions of law enforcement and with both the Chelan and Douglas County Prosecutor's offices,
Right.
with CPS. So we do cases of sexual abuse of children and really work in collaboration with our community partners to make sure that kids are getting an access to justice.
Right, good.
That's one branch of what we do.
Yeah.
Another is the domestic violence services as well as the sexual assault services. So we are also accredited by the state for providing both of those.
Okay.
And then we do general crime victim services. And one of my first projects when I came on did expand us to, for the first time, start a community law enforcement program. So
Okay.
we have a partnership again with all 4 jurisdictions
Okay,
of
so
law
what
enforcement.
does that involve, doing that? Because again, I was a
Yeah.
cop for a long time, and
Yeah.
the DV people and the police often did not mesh as well as they should. But again, I've been retired for 17 years.
Yeah. I have to say that I was really impressed.
Good.
We are in a unique place. Chelan and Douglas County and both police departments have been really supportive. So what happened, I found when I came onto Sage that we were doing a lot of crisis response work, but that we
Right.
really, really had a goal of moving towards prevention. People come into our office in some of the worst states of their life,
Sure.
and it's really hard to see that time and time again. So we started asking a question of how can we stop this from happening in the first place? So I sat down with our partners in detectives in all 4 jurisdictions to see what were some of the patterns they were seeing, what were some of the needs of the community, and then applied for a grant. And this is a program for the sexual assault programs of the Child Advocacy Center. So we had 15 officers, both Chief Crown and Chief Johnson, as well as Sheriff Morris and Sheriff Morrison supported this program from the get-go, which was great.
Right, good.
And they all signed on, and we'll be delivering trainings throughout the community that kind of equips our community how to protect kids from sexual abuse.
Very good, excellent. Because
So
a lot
having-
of people, they just don't understand the dynamics of what domestic abuse is. I like to say abuse because it's not always
Right.
just violence.
That's
you
right.
know, But yeah, public education is excellent, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and the combination between our staff as well as law enforcement, who will be out there teaching the classes, is great. Yeah,
But you're getting along well with Chief Steve and Chief Ricky?
they're
Okay.
great. Yes, they're
Aren't
great.
they though? I've
They
worked
are.
with both of those guys, great cops.
Yeah, it
Great
is.
job, and they have an understanding of the dynamics of domestic assault, which a lot of people don't, you
Yeah.
know, so.
Yeah, no, I think coming from different, working in different jurisdictions before, it's really unique to see this sort of partnership and collaboration between
Yeah.
agencies here. And that's something really special about Chelan and Douglas County.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was it that made you, I mean, did you seek out this position, or did somebody come to you and say, hey, Bethany, you'd fit in right around
Somebody
here?
did flag it for me, I will say. I wasn't looking for a role at the time. I was really, really happy with my work
Yeah.
with the Freedom Initiative.
Because you were busy.
I was busy.
you were really
yeah.
busy,
I was
yeah.
busy.
I follow her on Facebook, okay? I read her stuff. I kind of troll her, you know?
Oh, boy. Yeah, always doing like 4 different projects at once.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw that it was opening. Actually, my history with Sage is, my daughter and I had come to Sage as clients.
Right,
So
okay.
after we left Saudi Arabia, we needed services, and I walked into Sage and had that experience with Sage. So there was this kind of personal
Sure.
affiliation.
And that, I think probably a lot of the people who work there have had that experience.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah, lived experience, yeah.
Yeah, there was a gal named Jean Woods. I'm sure you've heard about her.
Yeah.
Jean and I,
Aw.
and it was very sad to lose her, but amazing woman. But she came from, a background of, having an abusive relationship herself, and yeah, we got along. I love Jean. I loved her. Miss her. So.
Yeah, no, it is really important work. And I mean, the reality is, if we take just the stats of Washington State, 41% of women have reported experiencing domestic
Yes.
violence. So
Right.
the odds are that a lot of people have had those lived experiences,
Yep.
unfortunately. Yeah.
And that's funny when people hear that stat. I once said something like that at a friend's house, and I can't remember who I was talking to, but he was in the other room with his son, and they both walked in and they looked at me and said, "What did you say? We don't believe that." And I said, "Well, it's not a matter of what you believe. It's a matter of
That's not how numbers work, right?
what's actually
Yeah.
happening." And I did once. I tried to do a crime analysis thing for Wenatchee
Yeah.
to find out where the most dangerous place in Wenatchee was.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the most dangerous place in Wenatchee?
I don't know, you'll have to tell me.
Somebody's house.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's where the majority of assaults took place.
That's
you know,
right.
And it's just it's sad.
It is sad. There is a misconception of stranger danger, right?
Right.
And we have that with our Child Advocacy Center, as well as just in a relationship. And unfortunately, it's more likely that somebody you're close to is going to hurt you.
And that's, we once did a domestic violence sexual assault seminar here
Mm-hmm.
years ago, and there was probably about 100 people there, and it was all the local people. We had just had dinner, so it was kind of casual. And I said, we've got to get over this misconception. I said, how many, and these were law enforcement attorneys and people who had, been involved in social services. And I said, how many people here know of a child who was ever abducted or molested, sexually assaulted by a stranger? One person raised their hand and says, I'm not even sure, but I think some years ago we had a case like that. And I said, but how many of you, either yourself or know someone who's been sexually assaulted or physically abused by somebody they know? Like 75% of the hands went up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what people have to realize. It's not strangers that are a danger to our children. It is
Right.
people that we know. And that's just a horrible thing to have to talk to your kids about, but
It
that's
is.
the reality.
That is the reality. And
Forgive me.
no,
I go off on a rant about this stuff.
well, rightfully so. I think it is something that should be making people upset and angry. And I think, it's not responding to it with anger or frustration. And that's why we've kind of become complicit in a way. And we haven't been able to address the problems that we need to.
Yeah, very true, very true. So-
Yeah, and just to your point, Sage, we are a small team. We're an amazing team, but in the last year, we served almost 5,000 individuals in our community.
Really?
Yeah, and 316 of those were child sexual abuse cases. So Chelan and Douglas County has, and that's just who's coming to us.
Yeah.
So you have to realize that number is much
Oh, that's
higher.
the tip of the
reality.
iceberg, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we have the problem here, and it's prevalent. But because of privacy reasons, you may not know what law enforcement or the courts or Sage Advocacy Center's team is dealing with. But for those of us that are in the field, we recognize how scary it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, did somebody came to you and said, hey, you'd want to do this job, and you felt this would be a good fit for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I did. I applied. I got to interview with the board of directors and got to know what their vision was and how that might align. I was lucky that they were very supportive and had a similar vision for how things should be. And yeah, it's been a really, really exciting 6 months, like you
Good,
said.
good.
Feels like a lot. It's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of growth, and we're very ambitious, but so far it's been really, really good.
Okay, and where is your office? Okay, we're gonna go over this again later, but.
Yeah, we're currently located at 710 North Chelan Avenue, so we're kind of close to, Confluence. And
Right.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay, we're talking with Bethany AlHadari. She is the executive director of SAGE, our local sexual assault, domestic violence
Services Center.
service center. Okay, but we're gonna take a quick break and come back talk with Bethany some more. But hey, street talk and other stuff. You stick around. We will be right back. So.
Hi, everybody. Dan Coos alongside Jesse Coble from Alpine Air. There's ice on my heat pump and under my heat pump.
Well, ice under your heat pump is normal. When we go into a defrost cycle, it melts the frost off, creates water, which freezes to the ground. Ice around your heat pump is a thing that you should probably give us a call about.
Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air for heat and air. Call Alpine Air. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here. I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
Attention, attention, Collins Fashions has a red dot sale on summer sundresses, capris, shorts, tees, tanks, and sandals, all at 50% off. Look for the red dot racks. Fall fashions from Tribal, Charlie B, French dressing, Habitat are arriving daily. Cozy sweaters and tops, great fitting jeans and slacks selected just for you. Brighton Apple Watch bands are fantastic and are in stock. Amazing service and selection at Collins in downtown Wenatchee.
Okay, we're back. I'm talking with Bethany AlHadari. She is the executive director of SAGE, an organization that's been serving our community since 1978. One form or another has evolved and continued to grow. You have been the executive director for 6 months now, so. Yeah. Okay, so somebody has an issue, domestic violence, sexual assault, and they come to your office. What kind of services are offered to them? What's the process they're going to go through?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess there's different routes that you can come in. Again, you don't have to be in, sometimes it is law enforcement that will send somebody our way. Other times it's not, anybody can come in to access the services. We have 12 advocates. All of them are bilingual. We also...
All of them?
Yes. Yeah, I know, right? They're amazing.
That's cool. That's great.
Yeah, we also have 3 forensic interviewers, so they will be doing child forensic interviews. And again, yeah.
Okay, and are these legally acceptable?
What do you mean legally acceptable?
When you do a forensic interview, is this something that you can...
It comes from law enforcement or CPS.
Okay, all right, okay, great.
But what's great about, most states now, is that the legislator had recognized, several decades back, that when children had disclosed abuse, they were then sent to the police department. They felt like they were in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
So Congress recognized that it would be better to have child-appropriate facilities who are doing so that's where we came in. Right. So that's one route that you could come in. But let's say you just need to get some support services. Everything is free and confidential. We have, we're hiring for a therapist right now. So therapy is also free and confidential. But, people can help, our team can help with protective orders, can support at court, can observe, be a neutral observer at court, and really walk you through that process.
Will they actually, go with somebody to court? Because that's often... the paperwork is tough enough, but actually showing up and going there is, it can be traumatic.
Absolutely, yeah. Our advocates they do attend court and they can be there if requested, of course, if that's somebody wants it. Also, we've had our team go in as neutral observers, just, because it's not always a criminal case. Sometimes
Right.
it is civil
Sure.
procedure, and in a lot of family court hearings, there's dynamics of abuse that are disclosed, and it helps to have somebody there just as a support. Yeah.
In regards to this, can I tell you one quick story?
Yes, of course.
I did go to, I had a victim, it was a criminal case, and I can't remember what the hearing was for, but the judge had to make some decisions about continuing the protection order. And while the judge was discussing, they looked down, and my client turned around and looked back at her abuser, which was back there, and he just looked at her and went like this.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so the judge looked up and started to say something. I stood up and said, Judge, I don't mean to interrupt you, but what you're saying is moot because he just made a threatening gesture and he's going to jail. Judge went, okay.
Wow. Wow.
I shouldn't take such delight in things like that.
No, justice matters.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I think those stories, accountability is important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the whole theory. If you hold these people accountable, they'll change their minds, but we only wish that was the case.
Right.
Okay, so what else will someone go through if they come to your?
Yeah, we set up appointments with our advocates. We also happen to have a domestic violence emergency shelter. So,
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
we
Good,
have
good,
a
good.
place that is confidential, and we can have 23 people there. It's been full for several months,
Oh,
which
really?
is,
Okay.
it's indicative of a problem in our community.
Yeah.
But I think that's been the case for several shelters in town. But it's a temporary program, so you have 90 days. We support in getting a permanent plan, but at least they have a safe place, so that they're not on the street. Yeah.
I know my wife and I actually used to have people come stay with us when we had a
yeah.
bigger house, when that was, but it was, so.
Yeah, but we can also
But
provide.
that's great, 23 people, that's really good.
Yeah,
That's really
it's
good.
for women and children, and we can also provide emergency financial assistance and just support in navigating the system because it's difficult to do.
Well, that's often the case, is that a woman is in a situation and needs to do something, but she doesn't have the resources, doesn't have the support, doesn't know where she can go.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
vital service. Now, how about group, support groups for people who've been through a sexual assault and that
Yep.
type of thing? I know you weren't doing them for a while during COVID, but.
Yeah, so when we bring the therapists back on, that's something we plan on doing, is having the support groups again.
Okay,
So we're
good.
working on that and relaunching
Great.
that program as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Let's say somebody's listening who may have an issue. What would you say to them about encouraging them to come in?
Yeah, I think that, if somebody's experiencing domestic violence or sexual assault, they're not alone, first of all, and that there are places that will support. I do think that a big part of accessing justice, and this always depends on somebody's, their own choice, but I think that report to law enforcement is really a key part of access to justice going forward.
I've always felt that's part of helping them heal by getting their power back.
It can be.
Okay.
It depends on the circumstances, but I really think that, unfortunately, a pattern that we've seen is that people are afraid, rightfully so, to report, or they don't understand the process. And when it comes down to it, we have not a perfect criminal justice system. We don't have a perfect legal system, but a big part of evidence and understanding your rights going forward is that call being made so that you can access certain services and that you can hold somebody accountable.
But even if someone isn't going to report it to the authorities, they're still welcome. You're not in any way. That's a decision that they can make, and you respect that.
And we believe survivors. That's the way that we work and function.
Yeah,
so.
big time, big time.
Yeah.
Well, that's always been an issue, you have a sexual assault case. One I worked years ago involved a 13-year-old girl and a member of a church, very highly respected, yada, yada. The church, I'm sorry to say it, I'm serious about my Christianity, but this is what the issue was. The church supported the guy, did not support, as a matter of fact, impeded the young girl. He ended up being convicted, confessed, that type of thing, but that's, I know this guy, he couldn't do it. I mean, that's what we kept hearing. Well, that's hogwash.
Yeah.
Nobody knows anybody that well.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's very common that, people who are abusing or perpetrating are very, very well versed and very well able to manipulate populations, able to target families, community members. It's often these I mean, if you just look at statistics, it's usually outstanding citizens, people that are shocked that this happens.
Yeah, and they've always got these other people lined up to say, I even had one, this is gonna kill you. This gal was this guy's dental assistant, and this guy had done it. He ended up being convicted of it, but the dental assistant said, well, I consider myself an attractive woman, and I've worked on his teeth numerous times. He's never done anything to me.
Yeah, it's so problematic. Yeah. It's problematic. That,
I know, yeah.
I mean, the reality is that the majority of times when domestic violence or sexual assault is disclosed, that it's true. And that's the point of departure we should be starting at, is really examining how serious these offenses are and believing somebody and looking into it. And then, the other reality is that it has a major cost on our communities. It has a major mental cost on the survivors. It's also, resources. There's judges' times, law enforcement. I don't think people realize how much the cost of DV and not addressing these problems is. I think the estimate was $8.3 billion in the U.S. per year that goes to this.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's just how it affects people's lives. I mean,
it's horrible.
When I was a detective, and again, this is quite some time ago, if a woman came in, and even if it was past the statute of limitations, if she made a report, it could be sent to the victim's witness unit of the prosecutor's office, and she could get counseling. And I had women everywhere, I mean, this had happened to them decades ago in some cases, but it still continued to negatively affect their life, and they finally said, I need to do something about it.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Yeah. Well, you're doing great work, and I think I've told you this before. I can't think of a better person for the position that you're in.
I appreciate that. I'm lucky to have a really, really incredible team.
Yeah, well, that's good. Good.
Yeah.
And how many people total work at the agency?
We have full-time 13, and then we also have a helpline team that does our 24-hour helpline. So they're part-time, but they're a big part of our success.
And you do have a 24-hour crisis line.
Yeah, we do.
And right now you're looking for a licensed mental health counselor? Is that what you're looking for? Or you're looking for a clinical psychologist?
No, we're looking for a master's level therapist.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, good.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll be interviewing.
hope you find him.
Yes.
Or her.
Yes, I do too.
I meant him,
Yeah.
generically speaking. Forgive my microaggression.
No, that's okay.
Okay, we're talking with Bethany AlHadari. She is the executive director for SAGE. Great person for the job. But hey, we need to take a quick break. We're going to come back and say goodbye. But Street Talk and other stuff, stick around. We will be right back.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
Check out ClubProCashmere.com for upcoming events and tickets.
Have you been to Boswell's Furniture lately?
Yes, Boswell's has an expansive 2-story showroom filled with so many great choices for our living room, dining room, and bedroom.
Did you know that Boswell sells directly from their store inventory, so we wouldn't have to wait to get our new furniture?
Yes, plus Boswell's has free local delivery and complimentary design service to help us with the layout and fabric choices.
No waiting and amazing customer service. I mean, why would we go anywhere else?
Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Okay, we're back. But Bethany, hey, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for what you do. God bless you big time.
Thank you.
It's just, like I said, I think you're the best person for the job.
Appreciate it.
Okay, well,
Glad
for
that
what
you're
it's
happy.
worth for me. But hey, Street Talk and other stuff, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.